The 2002 disappearance and murder of Laci Peterson and the subsequent trial of her husband Scott is a quintessential American crime story not for its complexity, but for how it became a national parable about suburban perfection, media frenzy, and the vilification of a perfect suspect. The timeline of events. December 24, 2002. Laci, 27 and 8 months pregnant with a son to be named Connor, vanishes from her Modesto, California home. Scott claims he went on a solo fishing trip to the Berkeley Marina, 90 miles away, that morning. April 2003. The bodies of Laci and Connor wash ashore separately in the San Francisco Bay, not far from the marina. Arrest and trial. Scott Peterson is arrested after Amber Fry, a massage therapist from Fresno, comes forward to reveal she and Scott began a romantic relationship in November 2002, and he had told her he was a widower before Laci disappeared. The trial in 2004 was a media circus. Verdict and aftermath. He was found guilty of first-degree murder for Laci and second-degree murder for Connor, and sentenced to death, later commuted to life without parole. Why this is a profound American story. 1. The shattering of the suburban dream. Laci and Scott were the picture of middle American success. Attractive, expecting their first child, living in a nice home. Laci's disappearance tapped into a deep, collective fear that the idyllic, safe suburban life is a fragile facade. The monster wasn't a stranger. It was allegedly the husband, the father, the person closest to the hearth. It made every spouse, in every seemingly happy home, wonder silently. 2. The birth of the 24/7 cable news mystery. Coming on the heels of 9/11, the story was a softer, national obsession. Nancy Grace on CNN Headline News turned the case into nightly, prosecutorial theater. She relentlessly championed Scott's guilt, framing him as a sociopathic cad, and turning his demeanor, his smirks, his hair dye, into evidence of depravity. The case proved that a compelling, unresolved mystery with a photogenic victim and a suspicious spouse could fuel endless hours of programming and drive massive ratings. 3. Trial by media and the creation of a villain. Scott Peterson was convicted in the court of public opinion long before his trial began. The media narrative was airtight and simple. The cheating husband who wanted freedom killed his pregnant wife. This narrative was so powerful it overshadowed the lack of direct physical evidence linking him to the murder, made Amber Fry a household name and the archetype of the other woman, created a cultural villain so universally despised that his guilt was seen as a foregone conclusion. His stoic demeanor, interpreted as coldness, only fueled the fire. 4. The commodification of grief and tragedy. The Peterson family's agony was broadcast live. The search for Laci became national news, with her smiling face ubiquitous. After the bodies were found, the fetal homicide charge for Connor amplified the emotional horror and public outrage. The story was no longer about two individuals. It was a national melodrama with clear heroes, the grieving families, Amber Fry, and an irredeemable villain, Scott. 5. Lingering questions and cultural legacy. Despite the verdict, the case left uneasy questions that persist. Was the evidence truly sufficient? Or was it a circumstantial case won by a powerful narrative? Could a fair trial even be possible given the unprecedented media saturation and public prejudice? What is the line between justified suspicion and character assassination? The legacy of the Laci Peterson case is profound. It created the blueprint for how cable news covers missing white women, the genesis of the missing white woman syndrome critique. It demonstrated the power of a simple, morally satisfying story in a complex world. It turned a murder case into a modern-day morality play about fidelity, family, and the darkness that can lurk behind the white picket fence. In the end, the story of Laci Peterson is less a whodunit and more a how America judges. It's a story about how we consume tragedy, how we demand villains, and how the machinery of media can shape the course of justice itself. It remains a stark chapter in the history of American true crime, where the crime itself and the spectacle surrounding it became inextricably and disturbingly fused.